Anti-Insurgency Task Force NTF-LCAC recommends the continuation of localized peace talks with the Reds. The Energy Department expects another rollback in the prices of petroleum products next week. And the United States House of Representatives has agreed on a measure blocking aid to the Philippine National Police. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, says it will be focusing on localized peace talks with communist rebels. In their first executive meeting under the new administration, Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Carlito Galvez Jr. said that peace talks at the national level never yielded results.
Hello. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
Health Department Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergeire says President Bongbong Marcos wants her to prioritize vaccine coverage. Vergeire told One News as The Big Story that Marcos Jr. ordered the agency to focus on ramping up vaccination of the vulnerable population and to sustain COVID-19 response efforts. On top of that, Vergeire said that they have been instructed to strengthen the country's healthcare system.
We need able to prevent that our healthcare system will be overwhelmed if there would be this kind of situation that the cases will continue to increase. Another one would be the healthcare workers, that he would want our healthcare workers' benefits to be provided to them, that he would be able to look into the plight of our healthcare workers in the different facilities of the country.
VERGEIRE also noted that there is not much difference between the functions of a permanent secretary and an OIC. However, she admitted that because she is not the official secretary, some matters will still have to be referred to the Office of the President.
Having an OIC would really have that kind of head among the different units of the Department of Health. It will always be different if there would be an OIC. We can now be able to do our policy directions. This means a lot to our personnel, that there would be somebody who can lead them and who can guide them and manage all of our processes.
One News Now will be back with more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Philippine Statistics Authority is asking for patience and understanding as they find ways to speed up the printing of the national IDs. Greg Gregorio with the report.
Ana is a fish vendor in Kamuning Market. As such, she can't afford to take even a day off just to process her national ID registration. That's why it was good news for her when a satellite registration site was opened at the Kamuning Barangay Hall in Quezon City.
Kasi po malayo at saka isa pa wala kaming time dahil sa pagtitinda namin. Pero katulad nga nito, laking pasalamat namin at napapunta na rito.
She explained that having a national ID would be a big help for her since she lost all of her other government-issued IDs like SSS and Voters ID. The creation of a national ID for every Filipino citizen and any foreigner residing in the country was established under the Republic Act 11055. According to the World Bank, having a working national ID system would help streamline the distribution of aids, especially amid the pandemic.
Globally, countries that had a national ID registry and digital payment mechanisms were able to deliver assistance quickly during the pandemic. When the pandemic hit the Philippines, there was no immediate mechanism to identify and verify vulnerable households. The national ID was not operational yet.
The Philippine Statistics Authority handles the national ID system, along with the help of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and other agencies. Their target is to register 92 million Filipinos by the end of this year. As of July 8, about 69.6 million Filipinos have registered so far, but only 13.9 million cards have been delivered. The Commission on Audit recently flagged the delay. BSP's Banknotes and Securities Printing Department explained that the failure to achieve the target production is due to the impact of the pandemic, while the logistics of this year's production and printing have been affected by many factors, including shortage in manpower. According to Undersecretary Claire Dennis MAPA, National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the Philippine Statistics Authority, the PSA and BSP are now discussing solutions to accelerate the printing of the national IDs. And as an augmentation strategy, they will be piloting digital national IDs this quarter. President Bongbong Marcos also met with the NEDA about the matter, as he wants to utilize the national ID system by early next year. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Another major oil price hike or oil price rollback is expected next week. Industry sources say that gasoline prices could go down by more or less 4 pesos a liter, while diesel prices could be slashed by as much as 2 pesos per liter. In an interview with us here on One News Now, DOE Director Rino Abad said the rollback is still an effect of the ongoing lockdowns in China and the tightening of monetary policy by central banks.
Possibly, another round could be expected as pronounced by U.S. There will be a policy rate review by July 26, 27. We could probably expect rollbacks to continue even after next week.
Meanwhile, Abad maintained that a direct subsidy is the best way to help out the transportation sector. He said they're hoping to get more funds for an across-the-board subsidy.
We hope to have this continue, probably reviewed as to the amount of the allocation. The most effective way is to increase, of course, and probably cover more sectors other than transport.
And here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The Philippine peso has weakened some more, closing at 56.36 against the US dollar today. That is a decline from yesterday's rate hike-powered close of 56.15 and almost matching Wednesday's 18-year low of 56 pesos and 37 centavos against the greenback. The U.S. House of Representatives has agreed to stop assisting the Philippine National Police with equipment and training. The amendment to the U.S. National Defense Authorization Act for 2023 states that funding to the PNP will be stopped until the Philippines is deemed to have met basic human rights standards. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has submitted his resignation after fleeing to Singapore on a flight from the Maldives. Celebrations broke out on the streets after the Sri Lankan president stepped down, defying a citywide curfew imposed by the government. Rajapaksa was forced out of office as protests over an economic crisis heated up. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.